We're going to get started. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody being on here. My name is Chris Cook. I live here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm direct to Symmetry Financial Group and proud to be so. 7 years now. 7 years I've been doing this, man. That's awesome. So can't wait till some of you guys have been here 7 years. It's going to be a fantastic ride for you. So let's get it cranking. Love talking about app count. App count's huge in our business because if you can write a lot of apps, usually you can issue a lot of business. You can take care of a lot of families. So let's do the top 3 app count producers this past week. We got Jordan Gillum, always strong on the app count leaderboards. 5 applications this past week. Way to go, Jordan. Jeffrey Miller, no stranger to our leaderboards. 7 applications this past week. And number 1 on our leaderboards in app count, Mr. DJ Robinson with 11 applications this past week, continuing his assault on the leaderboards each and every week. Top 3 producers this past week, Jeffrey Miller, 4,937 in premium. Way to go, Jeffrey. Having another killer year, already averaging well over 30,000 a month for his last 3 months in production. And it may go back even further than that. I just hadn't done the research. So way to go, Jeffrey Miller. Way to lead your team by example. Number 2, Miss Jordan Gillum, 6,735. Way to go, Jordan. Way to go. Way to lead by example, Jordan. That's good stuff. I think you got a couple of clients that you got to rewrite. I think you said this past week. Yeah, so way to go. Sometimes it works out that way, right? I get it, buddy. Number 1 on our leaderboard. No need to take a guess. We're just going to give it to you live. Mr. DJ Robinson himself, continuing his assault on the leaderboard. The guy started at the end of September, already qualified for Costa Rica, getting ready to already qualify for his second Costa Rica trip. Also other carrier trips, 18,261 for the week. He's already well over 100 and something thousand for the year in production. Joe, he's going after your record of 335, and he said he's going to beat it by June. So he ain't no joke. So let's see, buddy. I have to bring you out of retirement, man. See what you got.
You want to know something crazy, Chris?
Yeah.
I was talking to DJ last week,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, you still working bonus leads? And he's like, I'm exclusively working 50 centers.
Yeah.
My man wrote 18K on 50-cent leads.
Dude, hey, yeah. I mean, it just shows you with a one massive work ethic, you can just go after it and just get it done. And Elijah, I already know you off to a strong start for this week, buddy.
I'm tired of seeing him as number 1, dude. He's got to be working on the weekend.
You're going to make an assault on the leaderboards yourself this week. I won't tell them what your goal is, but just know that I know what your goal is, and I'm going to be rooting you on all week, my man. So way to go there, buddy. Recognizing the group of the week this past week, we got our base shop at $24,457 in premium. Way to go, Tina's Base Shop. You guys are always killing it. I think you guys are already at $46,000 for the month already, and we're 2 weeks in. So closing in on a $90,000 to $100,000 a month in the base shop. Way to go, guys. Interviews this past week. If you want to build a business, what do you think, Elijah, Joe? Quick quiz for you guys. What do you think is the number 1 thing you got to do if you want to build a business here? What do you think? Just a general thought on that.
Talk to people. STPs. Interview.
Yep. You got to interview people. If you don't interview people, it's hard to hire people in your company. It's a statistical fact. It's just one of those mind-blowing things when I don't see people on there and I'm like, they say they're building a business, but I'm not calling out their name each week. So here's the people's names that I am calling out. And if you're not on here, be like, I say I'm building a business, but yet I'm never on this list. Jeryd, how are they actually building a business but not on this? Like, it's statistically impossible, by the way, statistically speaking. Jeff Miller, congratulations. Mark Newbauer, Smoking Joe Martinez, Barry Davis, my golfing buddy, Jeryd Gillum, way to go, Jeryd Gillum. Mr. Brian Hamby, got him in studio here, and Mr. Scott Emmer. Scott Emmer, he's got a lot of people in his downline already. That dude just started, and y'all should see, he's got like 10 people in his organization. So it starts with interviews, folks. If you're not interviewing 10 plus people a week, Let me repeat to you right now, you are not going to build a big business. It will be always very small. It will be up and down. It will be very erratic. Some people will come, some people will go, and it will never go north. It's just not going to. You will not build one here. And it's not because I don't love you. It's because I love you. I'm telling you the truth. Average players want to be left alone. Good players want to be coached. Great players want the truth. So if you accepted that as the truth today, hey, congratulations. If you didn't, you're either average or you're good. Great. I'm looking for great. So I just want you to know that's what I'm looking for if you want to take this thing to 120 or whatever you guys want to out there. Know that. This leads you to the next category, folks, which is recruits, which are people that now can go write business in your organization, or people you've gotten a licensing, but they've sent a contract in. Listen to the people on this leaderboard. Brian Hamby, Smoking Joe, Mark Newbauer, Craig Fairclough, back of the net to you, buddy. Dustin Hensley, Jeryd Gillum, Barry Davis, Elijah Corujo, Mr. Val Zarn with 2, Jeffrey Miller with 2. And Jeffrey, he done taught his son way too well, because his son, Christian Miller, had 3 this past week. So big congratulations to the Miller crew right there. Just showing you the interviews do work. They both have invested $1,000 a month into ZipRecruiter, and they had 5 new recruits in their organization this past week. And that's really good stuff there, folks. Not too shabby at all, my friends. The key is interviews. You got to have them on the books, and those people have people on the books there. Really good stuff there, folks. Love seeing those numbers. That, if you're keeping track at home, over the last 2 weeks, that's 32 new contracts. So to say we have upped the pace, to say we have put it in a growth pattern, congratulations to your team. You certainly have. Now, some people ask me, well, what does that mean in production? What does that mean? Well, I want you guys to know, year over year, I shared it on GroupMe earlier this week. We are 51% year over year growth, which would put us in one of the top growing agencies in one of the fastest IMOs in all the country. 51%. And it's because of the work that you guys are putting in. It's because of the interviews you're doing. It's because you're finding good people. And we know through quantity, a lot of times that's where we find our quality. And that's what it is in this business. It's a standard that I've seen for 17 years. It's a standard that I've seen for 7 years here. I couldn't pick out in a lineup who's going to do it and who's not. We're going to give everybody the same information. We're going to give everybody the same training. We can't pick it out. So if you're out there and you're trying to be like, well, I'm going to hire 2 people every 6 months and I'm going to build a huge organization, you're not going to do it. It's a pipe dream, and your business is not going to grow. And I'm just here to shake you, like wake you up a little bit, roll you around, because it's not going to happen, because I want you to understand the truth. And that's the truth. You got to hear it. If you want to build something great here, you got to find enough people. Steve Eccles is finding people, and I already know it because I got a leaderboard that he's on here in a minute. So I'm going to call it out here in a minute, Steve. Andy's got an awesome background too. I think you and Andy must share the same background. I don't know if the Gillums like give out beautiful backgrounds at their group meetings or whatever, but you guys have some beautiful backgrounds in the Gillum organization. So, all right. Another thing I got to cover. Tina's probably over there being like, shut up, Chris. Give me the Tina's tips. Tina's tips. Let's start out with you, buddy.
Good morning.
Good morning, lady. Fresh back from your trip to Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee, handling your business with you and your family.
That's right. Well, I want to talk about recruiting because that is a hot topic.
It is a hot topic.
So those of you who have ZipRecruiter, we need to be sure you're updating those ads, Zip ads, closing them down and reopening them 3 times a week. I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I have also seen I've done them on Sunday occasionally, and we do get a few more. Maybe people over the weekend are home and looking more frequently on Sunday. We got more applicants on a Sunday. So if you wanted to do Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, that would be good too. As long as you're doing it 3 days a week, then you'll be good. Also, I wanted to talk about when you do have recruits, you need to be contacting them at least every other day while they're in licensing, just to see, is there anything that they need help with? Are they going along smoothly? Have they scheduled their test? They need to be letting you know when their test date is. You need to make a note of that and give them a call. I like to call them when it's leading up, either the day before, and just wish them luck on their test, let them know that I realize they are taking it, and to let me know as soon as they, pass or fail that day, let me know so we can make a plan. And I can let them know what to expect moving forward. Make sure they know how to apply for their license. You just need to follow up with them as much as you can, because that's kind of when they're in licensing where they'll drop off if they feel like they're not getting interaction, I feel like.
And I think that's a huge note, Tina, what you're covering with everybody. And I hope you guys remember a short pencil is better than a long memory. See, y'all didn't think I wouldn't remember to copyright that. I did remember to copyright that. So I hope you're taking notes on what she's sharing, because what she's sharing, a lot of you are like, well, how do I get to 120% contract? What she's sharing with you will help you get to 120% contract. Now, if you're not doing it, it's the reason you're not getting to 120% contract. If you start doing it, you are now on a path to 120% contract. So Tina, how do you remember, because there's nobody that runs a larger base shop than you in almost all of Symmetry Financial across the United States. How do you remember to call these people? Because you handle more people than anybody else combined. How would you remember to call them?
I have my planner, and I put their names in there every other day with their phone number. And also I keep track of it in the license coach. When, your agency owners, you have your people in license coach, their percentage progress is in there. And if they tell me, hey, I'm almost half done, I'm like, really? Because you're 2%. So you can kind of go over that with them and say, okay, what can we do to make you move through quicker? But yeah, I just keep it in my planner to call them and with their phone number. And each time I put somebody in, I go ahead and write them in there every other day. And then I make a check mark or I highlight their name as I'm finished with them, or leave them a message, or those kinds of things.
I just want to make that a point. So if you're out there, if you want to have a shorter pencil, write down, all I got to do is write it down in a planner, or write it down like me. Tina knows I have a desk calendar here at my office. It's a big thing. I know when I got to call people, or I have a Symmetry agent success activity planner that I write it in. And Tina, that's one that me and you share as well. So just make sure you write it down. It's not that complicated. Success is not. It's those little things that some people do and some people don't. It's just making those little to-do lists. I know, Tina, you're big on to-do lists, and how big has that been in your career here at Symmetry Financial and helping us get organized?
Oh yeah, I have a to-do list every single day, and I just go through and mark the things out as I do them. And I really make sure that I complete my to-do list before I leave, because if I don't, then I start out behind the next day, and I don't like that feeling. So I'm a stickler for getting my stuff done the same day, if I possibly can.
I'm telling you, if you want to become a millionaire here at Symmetry Financial, start a to-do list and check it off. And then before you end that day, start a to-do list for your next day and simply check it off. I know it's the most simple thing, but it's something I read in Secrets of a Millionaire Mind many years ago. And guess what? I started doing it. I got it out of my brain, because when it was in my brain, I'd forget stuff. I always love it when somebody says, well, I forgot. It's like, how do you forget? Oh, I know how you forget. The reason you forgot is because you never wrote it down. Because if you wrote it down, you wouldn't forget it, because it's on a list. If you do that, I'm just telling you, I'm giving you a tip that will make you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you will impact tons of people's lives if you will simply do it. Most people don't do that tip, and it's simply a to-do list. I'm going to give you another, going back to Tina. If you're investing $1,000 a month in ads, Tina, and say they're only updating that thing one day a month, what percentage of less people, recruits, they're going to get than what you would get if you're doing the same investment, but doing it 3 times a week?
I would say they would get 75% less people, for sure. Because I've been doing it a long time, and I have tweaked with it to see how many candidates I get per day and that kind of thing. And I've just got it down to where I can feel like I'm getting the most candidates for your money.
Right. Well, I mean, it's, and we want the most for you guys that are out there investing in your businesses. Just realize, like, we're teaching you from the heart. I know it's a pain. It takes an hour, but guess what? It's an hour invested into your what you've already put in. So make sure you're doing it. Don't miss that step, because if you do, Miss Tina just told you you're getting 75% less. Keep in
Yeah.
mind, she runs the #1 base shop in America. Really, 2 out of the last 3 years in all of Symmetry Financial. And this year, we've already broken out 3 agency owners, and we're still in the top 5 in all of America in agency owner, in base shops. And so, lady knows what she's doing. So thank you, Tina.
You're
Beautiful job there. Anything else?
I think that's it for me.
I love it. Appreciate you, buddy. If you hadn't got a chance to meet Tina, you got to meet Tina. Guys, she's awesome. Like, I'm blessed every day I get to hang out with Tina. So I come into my office so I can hang out with Tina, because she's that awesome. Smoking Joe Martinez. I'm going to get to you in a second because I've still got news and notes. I apologize for that, folks. We got a 12 o'clock call today. This call is going to be awesome. This call is talking about critical period concepts. Joe, I know when you use it in the field hot and heavy, I know for Elijah and anybody that really runs a lot of business out in the field, and me particularly when I was in the field, critical period concept is really what you're going to be using about 60-70% of the time. And Joshua Busick, one of the agency owners, is going to be covering that today. And if you want to get better at bonus leads, that's a great way to do it. A leads, just anybody helping people in general. You want to get helping older couples. Critical period concepts, what they're going to be teaching on the 12 o'clock call today. It's sales training. It will impact your career here. I promise you it'll make a difference. You take some good notes on that. New agent call tomorrow, hosted by my compadre, Mr. Joe Martinez. For those of you who don't know, the guy knows what he's doing in personal production. In his first full year here, he made $240,000, made an additional $122,000 this past year, basically part-time. So in the last 2 years, the guy's deposited $362,000 in his bank account just by going and building a business here and doing it right. So numbers don't lie, and the man has the numbers. So good stuff there. I was trying to think anything else. Oh, almost missed the really good stuff right here. Check this out. Jordan would have slapped me if I didn't. So I know she don't mind me hearing that. So Jordan, she's like, yeah, I would have. I probably would have. So we got the sweet contest. Y'all know, does anybody know we're having a conference? I don't know. We've mentioned it lately, but we may be holding a conference. It may be in Orlando, Florida, and it definitely is March 24th and 25th at the gorgeous Lowe's something hotel.
Portofino.
Lowe's Portofino Hotel. Beautiful place. Looks like Venice, Italy, for those of you who haven't seen it. So we're holding a contest, and the contest is you get 3 night suite, completely paid for, if you have the most registrants in your group, in your organization, going to think. Not too late to win it. The contest ends, write this down, this Friday night, 12 Eastern. This Friday night, 12 Eastern. This is the numbers that Lauren gave to me. So if this is not the numbers that you groups say you got, make sure you get with Miss Lauren on this. But this is the numbers that I've currently got. Coming into number 2 spot for that right there, right, for the sweet contest. Really, it's a 2-way tie on that. It's the Davises with 11. So we got Barry and Laura Davis with 11 on the sweet contest, and Mr. Val Zarn tied with that on the sweet contest as well with 11. And really, it's an interesting thing. If you take the number, because remember, we could take the numbers. This is a challenge out to the Gillums. It could look like 20, 11, and 11, but they get credit for the Davises at 31 right now. The Gillums are leading the way, total of 31. But Davises, hear me out. You're not too far behind. You guys are at 11, so you guys can make a run at the title on that right there. Gillums, I'll explain it to you if you need me to on that, but you get what I'm saying, right? So, but anyway, all good stuff. So Davises and Zarn parked in the number 2 spot with the Gillums leading the way. Just want to make sure at 31. Way to go, Gillums. You guys are crushing it out there. Way to go. Shows you the interviews, Jeryd, do work, right? So interviews do work. So it's a sweet contest. If you see the suite, it's probably bigger than my house. So I just want you to know it's a sweet. All right. Coming up though, if you want a 3-night stay for free, the Los Portofino Hotel, which is a $450 a night value, basically. We've got a two-way tie for third place here. We've got Steve Eccles at 6. We go, Steve, brand new agent, looking to build a little organization down there in the great state of Florida. We got Eric Rush tied with 6 as well, just getting started. So you guys are close. The number 2 spot, Jeffrey Miller, but y'all saw Jeffrey Miller and his son are recruiting at a high level. They're in the number 2 spot with 7 right now. The Davis is leading the way in that category, coming in number 1 with that one right there. Laura and Barry Davis with 11. So they lead by 4. We got a few days left, but I hear there's a lot of people getting registered between now and Wednesday. I'm talking 10, 20, 30 more people in some categories. So these numbers are really going to change a lot over the next few days. So really liking that. So go out there and get you a free room, folks. All you got to do is do interviews, find the right people and see if it's a fit for them. So anyway, that's my diatribe. All right. Smoking Joe, you out there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Did you see where I went in Tampa, Florida in your honor?
I did.
Sometimes I travel the country in your honor and find places that say Smoking Joe, and then I go to those. So I just want you to know that's how much you mean to me, buddy. So we got Smoking Joe Martinez on here, going to do the book of the month, Green Lights. And Joe, I'm gonna park it in reverse over here, and I'm gonna sit back and relax and listen to you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Joe Martinez. I'll be doing the book of the month, which is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Really, this book is interesting. It's a lot different from what we're normally reading, with facts and research and, philosophies that have been proven to work by people. And this book is more, I was telling Chris, a liberal book, right? It's different thinking, it's still talking about success, but it's really talking about, and for me, what it shows me is everything works if you have a purpose and a drive. That's really what this book shows me. So what I'll be covering today is really the takeaways that I got out of this book versus, quoting things inside the book, because it's really just talking about his life, right? He's just giving you what he's done and how he's become successful and a lot of his failures. And I think that's the biggest thing we can all take out of this book is the fact that he has a lot of failures, right? But he continues to go forward and experiment and experience so much and find success through that path. A couple things that I really got out of that book is forming good habits, right? He says, I will form good habits and be a slave to them. And I think that's huge, right? Because our business is being consistent, right? We have to form a good habit. We have to be consistent with it. And we have to do it every single day. And that goes from building, that goes from dialing, that goes to running appointments, running the same presentation every single time, right? When you talk to an Elijah, a DJ Robinson, a Jeffrey, and you ask them, hey, what are you doing in the home, right? I do the same thing every single time, right? I say the same story. I give the same presentation. And it's all about being consistent and being a slave to that consistency, right? So write that down, guys. Form a good habit and be a slave to it. Do it every single day. Practice it. And that's going to go to every book that we've ever read, right? You talk about the morning miracle. It's a ritual. It's being consistent. It's being a slave to those habits, even when you don't want to do them. A real big thing, right, is don't half-ass it. That means form the habit that you want. Think of what you want to do and how it's done and the process of it, and do it correctly every single time, right? Don't half-ass it. This business is not about half-assing, that's for sure. If you're going to dial 500 plus, you have to dial 500 plus a week. If you're going to STP 10 people a week, you have to do it every single week. You can't do, Chris will be the first one to tell you in building, and Elijah will tell you in production, right? The week you slow down you pay the next 3 or 4 weeks. You cannot stop. You have to be consistent. You can't half-ass anything in this business. It's about helping families and talking to more people. That's it. But you have to do it, and you can't half-ass it. A really cool part, Chris, we talked about stuff like this in some of our other books, is this is not, we're not role playing, right? This is you're the author to your own book, right? You're able to write what's next. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. You get to write what's next. When you truly understand that, it'll blow your mind of what you're capable of, right? He talks about it he gets this idea and he contemplates very little, right? If we all read the 5-second rule book, Matthew, he lived by it as well in his own head. He would think about it. You know what? I'm going to do it, right? I don't care what people think. I'm going to do it. And he jumps. And I love that because I'm the same way. I done a lot of things in my life and I've never second guessed it. If I felt like it was the right thing in my heart, in my mind, boom, I was there, right? Whether opening another business, joining Symmetry, just, going to swim today, right? I did it because I knew it was the right thing to do, right? And you're able to write your story. When you truly understand that, you wonder, right? Can I be a good producer? Can I be a good father? Can I live the life that I want, own the home that I want, have the car that I want, McLaren, right, Val? Get the things that you want. You're able to write that. You're able today to say, I'm already doing the process to get what I want. When you truly understand that, you'll start living a completely different life. You are the author to your book and start writing on those pages, right? With a journal is a great way to start because you're able to say, hey, today I'm going to STP so many people. Our morning huddle up calls, it's almost like a morning journal, right? We have our big 3 and we say, hey, today I want to accomplish this. I want to try to do this, or not try, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you start writing your own book, right? You can't be afraid. And he talks about this in the book, that you can't be afraid to write big things, right? And dream big. If you're thinking, hey, you know what, I can talk to 2 people today. Why not 5? Why not really challenge yourself and say, hey, I'm going to contact 10 people? Because that's what we talk about all the time, right? When we see leaderboards, when we see people, really getting what they want, they are not doing small things. They are picking large dreams and they're writing it down and they're practicing them. So I'll leave y'all with this. In this book, he talks about being wild and going to get what you want. He talks about not being scared and living with a purpose. Learn from your mistakes and own them and live because of them, right? Live because you talked to 10 people and they all said no, right? Live because you ran 7 appointments and they all told you no, but you got to run them. You got to get practice out of them, and you got to find out what doesn't work for you and what can work for you. So take that with y'all, guys.
That's good.
Love it, buddy. Love it, man. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. All right. So got a couple more things for you here before we close it up today, guys. Going to hear from a couple of our key people out there. And let's see. I think I got her down here in the right-hand corner. Yeah. What's up, Jordan Gillum? I'm not
Still
hearing
can't hear
you yet. No. You hear her, Jeryd? I don't hear her. Is she in studio? Did you kick her out of the studio?
She's muted again.
Here you go. I asked to unmute you again. See if that works, Jordan.
No, I think your mic's messed up.
Un momento.
Oh, she's logging in on her phone.
Oh, there you go. I like it. It adds to the suspense, doesn't it? I'll hear from Jordan here in a minute. It's gonna be awesome. Well, there y'all go. Here you go. I will unmute you, Jeryd.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I was thinking y'all are in the same
That
studio. I was like, I think they live together. I know they're married. So
Oh gosh, I can't do two things at once. Trying to sit down and put this thing down. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Sorry about that today.
No, it's okay. Just wanted to hear from you this morning. You know, we've been talking about conference probably for the last month, and you know, we definitely want to, you know, keep talking about just some of the impacts it's going to have. But you know, I'd ask you and some of the team last night, Jordan, just give me some feedback on a couple of things that you thought would be important for people to know about making the right decision and the, you know, really some of the impact that it could be. So I know you'd sent me a little tidbit of something there, and I wanted to have you speak on it real quick.
Yeah, and as far as like, do you guys hear me okay? Like, is my sound okay? Because
We got you.
I'm not a fan of this ear pod thing.
You are in studio. I love it.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, what we were just talking about, and Jeryd and I were even talking about it this morning, and God knows the team has heard me talk about this with each and every one of them, whether it's in a group setting or a one-on-one, was just like the thoughts that Jeryd and I had when we were being invited to our first conference, because we were in the business for 2 months for our first conference. And I mean, the Davises didn't even, I think they were in licensing. I had invited everybody and their mom to come. And the reason why I felt so implored to bring so many people to conference, because I don't know if you remember our first conference. But our first conference, I brought like 7 people with us whenever we went. And they weren't the right people, except for the Davises, thank God. And I'm glad they were 2 of the 7 people who showed up. A lot of them thought it was a drunken getaway to Raleigh, North Carolina, which I was like, no, that's not what it's for. But I just do remember the thought process we had. Jeryd and I, of course, we were only dating at the time. We were talking about what it was we weren't going to have if we didn't do what we were being coached to do. And, you know, because we went through the thought process of, okay, we're being coached to go to an event that is at least $1,200, $1,300 for the 2 of us to make happen, unless we crunch, which we crunched. We crunched our money to make that happen. Cook knows we stayed at like a little dingy place with the Davises, and I mean they had brought their dog, and we didn't know anything about what we were getting into. You know, I think we stopped at Target on the way there because Jeryd didn't have like a suit jacket. And like we had met up with the person who had hired us, and we were not looking conference attire. And he was like, dude, you need to buy a tie or something. And we were like, oh God. And I just remembered that when we were told like, hey, you need to go, we were talking about, okay, so these people hired us on here so that we would succeed, not that we would fail. And part of the recipe for success was this huge meeting that everyone just kept talking about. You know, and we would hear it on conference calls. We would see it on social media. We would hear it from the individual phone calls we would have. And we were like, so, okay, so this meeting's important. So we got to figure out how to get there. And what would we be missing out on if we didn't go? And everyone just kept on saying, your success, what you want, what you really want to have. And you know, we had no idea what it was that we really wanted out of this business when we first started. But after we went to our first conference, I'm telling you, we both were sitting there like, I am so glad I came. Not only am I so glad I came, I'm glad I followed what I was encouraged to do, which was bring someone, because we brought the Davises. And here we are. We've been to 5 or 6 conferences since then. We have now the opportunity to help put one on with you. We own our business now, and my marriage is a marriage I could never have imagined getting if we hadn't gone to conference together 5, 6 times. You know what I mean? Like it's when conference comes up, the world is now revolving around this meeting. You know what I mean? Like we make that meeting what we're doing, and then everyone else has to adhere to whatever that is in our life, because That's how important it is to us and what we have and what we're going to have. I mean, I wouldn't have what I have right now. Jeryd and I would not have all the things that we have right now had we had not been to an event and multiple events just like this. And I know that going to this event, we're going to have even more than what we have right now. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys today, because if you're like us and you were like at your first conference or going to your first one, you're like, I'm just here to make some money. I just really want to figure out how to make consistent money here. You know what I mean? I want to figure out how, Jeff Miller just keeps putting up all these apps every single week after week, and how him and his son see the vision of investing $1,000 a month. I just want to get it. I just want to know how I do that from home and can do this so I can spend time with my family. Not only are you going to get that when you get there, when you see it and when you're around it and you're with these people that you see on this call, like you guys get to meet Joe. I can't tell you how cool that is that you get to meet Joe. This dude is the funnest dude I've ever met in my life. That's why I give him so much garbage all the time. It's because he is like one of my most favorite people I've ever met. It's just a part of my love language. But I know I'll end what I'm going to say. But I just wanted to say, like, you not only will get what it is that you're looking for as far as your answer, because you'll get the answer. You're just going to have to implement it, right? Because that's what happens after conference, is you implementing the things that you get. But you're also going to find more. And you have no idea what that is. We had no idea what that was. And I'm so excited to be able to spend some time with you guys next week. It's next week. I'm so excited. You have no idea. You have no idea. I'm going to give it back to you, Chris, because I could keep going. And I'm not going to for you.
I love it. I'm fired up for it. Fired up to see the Gillums. That's going to be a good time. So fired up seeing both of you guys, man. All right. I got my partner in crime, Mr. Elijah Corujo, up here at the top right-hand corner. Elijah, you had sent something to me yesterday, and I was like, man, that's a good point. That's a good point. And I'm like, I think people need to hear that this morning. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Elijah Corujo's first full-time year with Symmetry Financial wrote $280,000 in premium, deposited a little over $120,000 in his bank account. And you may wonder how he did it. I know one thing, one of the catalysts for it was a conference, right? And, but specifically though, Elijah, I want you to hit hard on really one thing that you sent me last night. And I think you guys need to hear this, what he's going to hit on, because remember, there's 4 things in this business that you need to do to be successful. And one of them, Mr. Elijah Corujo is going to hit it hard right now. So Elijah, take it away, buddy.
So when I was thinking about conference, there's 2 options for conference, right? There's the virtual one, which is free, that you can watch from the comfort of your home while your kids are screaming, while you're taking the dog out, while you're doing dishes and laundry in between sessions, or you can go in person. And the virtual conference is going to be great. But when I was comparing the 2, the biggest thing that you miss out on if you're planning on not coming to Orlando is the association. We're going to cover a lot of the same things. There's going to be some that we're going to cover that you're not going to get at a virtual conference by nature of us being in person. But association is one of the 4 cornerstones of what makes a successful agent here at Symmetry. And the association is really why I'm still here. And I can speak for everybody who's been here more than, I would say, a year and some change. People who've been here since pre-2020 and are still here have been to a conference. I don't know of anybody who's been here pre-2020 and is still here that has not been to a conference. If there is, please shoot me a message, but I don't know of anybody who has. And there's a reason for that. When you get association, you get the pieces that you miss without it. And here's why. So look at our core values. Some of them are relationships matter, people come first. We have fun and we get stuff done. It's a relentless pursuit of personal growth. All 3 of those, 3 of the 8 have to do with association. That's kind of important. And one of the things that I say a lot is, if you're hanging out with 4 broke people, you are going to be the 5th. No way around it. Guaranteed. Okay. I don't even need to look at your friends to know that that's what's going to happen. whether it's your family, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your dog, whoever you spend the most time with is what you start to become more like. You meet somebody who only spends time with their dog, that's a weird person. I'll tell you that right now. But let me ask you a question. How are you going to get to an agency owner if you never hang out with agency owners? How are you going to get to a 120 if all you hang out is with people who are at a 70? You can't. You can't. What you are around and what you water is what grows. If you want to become a 120 or an agency owner, you need to water a relationship with somebody who is further along around the bend than you. And you notice, like, Chris is the only 120 on this call. You notice he's still going to conference, right? Why would he need to go and you not? That doesn't make any sense. And so when it comes to association, that is the biggest thing you are going to miss out on if you don't go. And here's why that's important. Without association, you won't be here by the time that there's another conference. I can almost guarantee it. It probably wouldn't really make sense for you to be there, because what you're going to learn at conference is going to be the thing that keeps you here. And if say you're looking for that missing piece or that silver bullet that you're like, man, why the heck doesn't this click? Like, what is missing? Why am I not being consistent? Why haven't I made 10 grand in a month yet selling insurance? Why haven't I recruited somebody? It's because you haven't had the level of association required to get that. And when it comes to an investment, you guys have heard me, I've been all about investment recently because it's the word for the year. You can't get a return without the investment. Conference is an investment in yourself. And the return on that is becoming the person that you need to be to attract people to your business. If you're a 5, you're going to suck at attracting 10s, because eagles don't hang out with turkeys. And if you're a turkey, you need to become an eagle. The way that you become an eagle is you hang out with eagles. There you go. That's why you need to be at conference.
Boom. Just blew it up. Hey, you just blew it up, buddy. You just blew it up. And guys, you get a chance to meet Elijah. You get a chance to sit down with him, may have an adult beverage with him. You get a chance to pick his brain, how he went from where he was to where he is and where he is going. And I'm telling you guys, I remember Elijah before he went to a conference, and I remember this version of Elijah. And I'm telling you, one day, me and his buddy Grant, so me and Grant sitting there, and we were like, man, we just got to get Elijah to conference. And it's like, we didn't know if he's going to make it to conference, because he was pretty bad at what he did, and he was pretty negative about everything.
I was a pessimist. I was a
he was very much a pessimist. So those of you who don't know, pre-conference Elijah, he was a pessimist about this business. He's like, man, I don't know if I can make this work. And me and Grant, we just smiled because we could see him light up. And I remember you coming to me the first day, and that evening when we're having a little association dinner together, and you like, dude, I'm going to kill this thing. And I was like, and it's like the new Elijah was born, and then the path was taken. So,
and here's what's cool about it too. Yeah. I got to meet the CEOs of the company that same night. We were at McCormick and Smith's, and we had our own little room. We were hanging out and having a good time. We walk out, and Brian Pope's there, Casey, Brandon, I think Danny Young was there, all their wives. And it's like, holy crap. Like, you can't get that on a Zoom call. Dude, I felt I was so, here's why I was a pessimist too. I was a pessimist because of the people I was hanging out with. You tired of being negative? Get around some positive people. Emotion is contagious. And you get a lot of the wrong emotions when you're not in motion. You get emotion, or you get motion when you get association. The association will then transform into momentum. And before you know it, you're kicking tail and growing. And when you come to conference, you'll find me next to Joe, because him and I are going to be hanging out the whole time. Yeah. It's going to be a blast, dude.
Exactly, buddy. Well, proud of you, man. And certainly that's a great reminder of the great things that we need to do. So I love it. So we got one more quick tidbit, and then I'm going to say a couple of closing comments and we'll get off here, folks. Thank you, Elijah. Everybody come meet Elijah. I'm telling you, he can help you out in your career. So see if I got my partner in crime out there.
I'm here, sir.
There you are. Sorry, I couldn't find you in the mass of people here. So, Mr. Valzarn, buddy, go ahead. I know you had something you wanted to speak about our conference, on your thoughts real quick, and we'll go with that.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I'm so excited that it is next week. Next week, guys, we only got like 5-6 working days till then. As far as going and not going, it's night and day. I mean, I think I'm going to reiterate some of what's been said, and I'm going to finish up here in about 90 to 120 seconds. So association and connection, right? How much do you think you can connect with someone over a Zoom call? How much do you think you're going to connect with people on our team when you can't even see the people on our team on the Zoom call? Right? It's going to be a huge event, right? So association and connection. And you won't, the difference between watching a sporting event and being there in the arena, right? I mean, that's the difference. Something to consider too, it's also been 1.5 years since we had our last big conference. And there's a good chance it's going to be another year. So if you're looking to grow a big business and be profitable this year, if you're thinking next year, okay, right? Hopefully you're thinking now, right? Hopefully you're thinking now today, impacting other families' lives and your own. And here's what should keep you up at night. What am I going to miss out on if I don't go? Okay. And something that I just keeps me up at night is what's going to cost me if I don't go, right? What's it going to cost if I don't go? And that's immeasurable. I'll tell you what, because the ripple effect it can have on your life. And something to consider is where energy goes, where focus goes, energy flows. Okay. The key to making this happen for you is first deciding to go, then figure out how to get there, because there's a tremendous amount of energy that's released when you make a decision. Okay. Because if you're on the fence, let me tell you what, get off the fence, man. Stop beating yourself up. Get off the fence. And where you will be tomorrow will be determined by the decisions you make today. In my very best Matthew McConaughey impression, green light.
This is green light,
baby. Green lights. Hey, all right. So this is another one of those short pencil moments. I'm going to give Val. I'm going to give everybody on the team just a couple of little economic hit you in your gut strings, because certainly you're in business. This is something. So if you went to conference and you just learned just this one thing that helps you write one more application a week. Like if you took a tip from Val or Jordan or Joe or Mark or, anybody out there, Jeff Miller, any of our great leaders out there, if you went and you took one tip that helped you write, do you think it could help you write one more application a week? One more. We all know our average application is $550. So write down $550, okay? One more application a week. Now, you looked at over the next 52 weeks, that's an additional $28,600 in lost income if you decide not to go. It's a statistical fact. You with me? It's $28,600 that you're going to be missing out on if you decide not to go to the training or decide not to share that training with other people. That's just what it is. Just want you to know. That's just if you learned one tip in 2 days from the top people in our business, in our group, one tip that got you to that little bit of change. Some of you will increase it 3 or 4 applications a week, which will be exponential, which will create another $100,000, $200,000 a year in income. But that's one application, $28,600. Put that down, quantify what that is. So if I was writing you a check when you got to Orlando for $28,600, would you be there? You're like, yeah, I would. Okay. Well, that's what you're doing. If you go there, take notes, you shorten your pen or your pencil, and then you apply what we're going to teach you. That's exactly what's going to happen. It happened for Elijah Corujo. He was on here. Keep in mind, he went from basically 0 to 59,000 part-time and 120,000 full-time. So that's nearly $80,000 he's deposited in his bank account from that one great decision. Does that make sense? Or he'd been out of the business. He wouldn't have made the 180. It was a fact. Another thing, what if you decide to impact somebody else's life? You think that's a great decision for you, and now you took it one step further and you shared it, just like me and my wife did with 12, 13 other people that we took to our first conference. one person in your business goes out and takes advantage of this at an Elijah level where they write 20 applications a month, right? They go out there, they run their 15 appointments a week, they do what they're said, and you have an average 10% override on that block of business. Well, each application, what's 20 times 50? Everybody do the math at home. What's 20 applications times 50? $50. Guys, that is an additional $1,000 a month that you're missing in your business that's coming in. Would some of you, would that pay for your car? Would that pay for you and your family having a better vacation? Would some of you, would that pay for your mortgage or most of your mortgage? What could that mean to you and your family? What could that mean to your business? And then think about, what did it mean for the person you brought? How much did it impact their life? You with me? So you've got two angles to look at it there. Last thing I'm going to leave you with, all of us, this is everybody. I'm really going to talk to the people that have been with me a while and hear my heart. But if you want to listen and you're brand new, listen. You're missing out on the biggest economic opportunity in your lifetime, bar none. And you only have 15 months to take advantage of it. And you're kidding yourself if you're looking to get to 120 and you're not bringing 30 or 40 people to this thing. I'm just saying, it's the biggest economic opportunity in your lifetime. We basically get to help families, and as a byproduct of helping families, it blows my mind where it can add economically to the families we represent. The reason I say that is because equity appreciation rights, they're called EARs, and they're being offered the rest of this year through next year by Symmetry Financial, where they're giving away 20% of the company when we go public. And all you got to do is take you and an organization of people to $500,000 a year or more issue paid business, which you and 3 people could get there. And you get to participate in equity appreciation rights of the company. It would be like you working at Microsoft as a person on their floor before they went public. And then when they went public, you got 50,000 shares or 100,000 shares as being an employee of that company. There's people that were janitors of that company that were millionaires overnight. I'm just telling you, whether you're brand new, if you've been with us, you got to quit selling yourself. Team, listen to me. You got to quit selling yourself that 5 or 10 people is okay. It's not. If you're wanting the big stuff, it's just not, because great players want to be told the truth. So I'm praying some of you were great enough to hear that, because that's the truth. You with me? Now, some of you be like, leave me the heck alone. Okay, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I know where you fall. You with me? So I'm just saying, that's the battle cry. Hey, we all can impact a lot more people. I think we could get 30, 40, 50 more people as a team there over the next week. Let's go out and impact some people's lives. I appreciate your guys' time this week, and I cannot wait to see you guys next week. And let's go out there and impact some people's lives. Thank you, guys. Have a great week.